All right, we are live. Good to see you guys. So, last live stream, we ended up finding, I'm going to share my screen, this profitable item. Christiana, good to see you. We found this item on eBay. We found two of them for $86, and the sale price is probably going to be somewhere around $168. So that's $59 profit. We were able to find two of them. They were in like new condition. And so that's going to be around $120 profit that we were able to find last live stream. So we are going to take it from there and see what else we can find. So to be completely honest, let's just take a look at this listing and see how many of these we think we could sell per month and see if we can even find some more of these, because if this is an item that we can go deeper on and we can get another one or two, why not do that? So taking a look at the sellers, we're seeing 36 sellers, and we're going to take a look and see how many are even competitive. And so this is basically how you go through a listing and see how many items to stock. Because we don't want to just buy a random amount. We want to use our money well. So first, we're going to take a look at the new listings. We see that the buy box is 177. So this 177 is competitive. 1, 2, 3. Is my screen showing my face? Okay, so it's on the left. I just want to make sure you guys can see. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, maybe 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 17 competitive sellers new. Kind of a stretch, but 17 new. And then what about used? So we're just going to keep track here. 17 new competitive. This is just giving us a ballpark. So this is competitive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probably all these are competitive. So 17 plus 5, that's going to be 23 competitive sellers plus us. They have multiples, so we'll just say around 24 competitive sellers. And then from here, what we do is we go to Jungle Scout. We are going to find the average sales rank. So this has an amazing average sales rank. Absolutely insane. Right now on Seller Amp, it's showing as best-selling rank 51 in electronics. Absolutely incredible. So this is almost ridiculous even doing this to see, but we're just going to do it for the example. So it's saying 9,000. That's a lot. That might be inflated. We can also go to Keepa to get like another point of view here and go to data. Offers. Just got to let it load. Not offers. What are we looking for? Where is it even? The drops are somewhere. You have to click in here. We're just looking for the drops because someone was talking about how the drops are helpful. It's just another way of looking at it. So product details, drops in the last 30 days, 127. I personally use this more, but even at 127 divided by 24, that's still keeping 5 in stock per month. And so with this, if we do 9,400 divided by 24 sellers, That's like 390. So obviously this is a huge ballpark, but we know that we can get more than 2 of these in stock. So real quick, we're going to go to the chat and say hi. We got Rodriguez in the chat. We got Christiana in the chat. We got Jose in the chat. Yeah, the mountains were great. The mountains were so much fun. Good to see you, Rodriguez. Good to see you, Jose. Yeah, they were gorgeous. We saw so many elk. It was a bunch of fun. We were celebrating me and my wife's second anniversary. So that was a bunch of fun. Got to stay in a nice place. There was breakfast in our room. It was great. Rodriguez says, I want to go back to Colorado. Yeah, you were here in like a couple weeks ago. I enjoy it a lot. It's a fun place. What was your favorite part of it? Steven says, hey man, hope you're doing well. I appreciate that. I'm doing pretty good. I hope you're doing good too. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And happy anniversary. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, just like blessed. 2 years of good marriage, and I don't know what else to say. It's just going to be a good rest of life together. Jose is saying, when and where are you going to Peru? So first of all, got to get the passport in, but I got it in. It's expedited, so I'm hoping it goes quick. But the plan is November. We're probably going to go to Cusco. Should be like first week of November. Probably Cave of the Winds and Garden of the Gods. I love Garden of the Gods. My wife's been to Cave of the Winds. I haven't been. I've heard good things about it. Hiking's one of my favorite things. We went hiking yesterday and we saw this baby deer running around and get to climb on the rocks. Rocks are my favorite. And speaking of overcoming things, we will be doing some sourcing. So I'll get back into that and then I'll come back to the chat. Entrepreneur Josiah, good to see you. Bacon Bagel on Instagram. Good to see you. Yeah, so we're doing some live sourcing, and Josiah, you've probably seen this product already because you're a boss, but we are going to get into this. So basically, if you're new to the chat, a couple of minutes ago, I was talking about how we purchased 2 of these items yesterday for this price, plan to sell for this price like new. And we wanted to just see like, hey, are there any more available right now? But first we want to understand, like, are we way too deep in stock on this? So we did the Jungle Scout estimator. It's just obscene how many sales this gets, regardless of how you look at it. There's only 24 competitive sellers. If you're smart, you'll be going on eBay right now and trying to purchase before me if you're into this type of thing. But yeah, I mean, before we look for more products, let's try and find this one profitably. Because like, why look for other products if we can just like buy this one again? So we'll put that in there. Close some of these tabs. I'm in my own YouTube. Very cool. Close some of these tabs. All right, let's see if there's anything here. So we're going to filter by newly listed. because the lowest price isn't on this item isn't necessarily even going to matter too much, because the lowest price is going to be like for one of them, because this variation, there's a 3-pack and then there's also a 1-pack, and we're looking to buy the 3-pack. So we got the 3-pack here, way too much. So again, what's our max price on this? Was it like 110? So if we want 30%, it's like 110. So like this is something we could send an offer on. I guess why not? It says new. It says it's the right model. They have 2 available. Since they have 2 available and they'd save on shipping, they might be more likely to sell them to us for a discount. So, I mean, I'm kind of just going to send him a pie in the sky offer that he might accept. You guys could just overcut me and get it maybe, but I'm going to shoot for pretty high ROI because why not? So 95. Oh, but it'll probably be more like 85. We want to make sure that the shipping makes sense. So 200. So that's like 100 each. It's both. Have a good day. And Steve, I see your chat. I'll get to that in just 1 second. So 174 divided by 2, 87. I mean, that's probably a little ridiculous of an offer, but I'm just going to send it because why not? Because, I mean, that's a pretty safe offer. Okay, so Steve is saying, let me get back here real quick. Stop sharing. All right, Steve Hang is saying, can you break down key points that you look at in Keepa and or Seller Amp to determine a purchasing decision? Yeah, definitely. We spent some time looking into this last stream, but it's always good to go back over this. So I'm going to share my screen again. This one kind of happens to be a home run type product if you can find it profitably. So very first thing that I look at, and if you want more detail about this at any time, I do have a YouTube video up about it, a checklist that I look at to make a purchasing decision. But at a pretty basic level, what I try to do is, number one, I want something that sells really fast. And this 100% ticks that box. It's 51 in electronics. So that's amazing. We also see that there's a lot of reviews, almost 11,000 reviews. So this item is just like fast selling. Perfect. We love that. Another thing I'd look at is, well, I'm trying to think of, I guess we'll look at, yeah. So first, does it sell fast? For me, when I do eBay to Amazon, what I like to do is I'll type it into eBay and see if there's a history of people actually selling it for the right price. Because I can say, great, like I want to get this for 87, or great, I want to get this for, this is 25%. I want to get it for 116, or I want to get it for 110 and make 30% ROI. But if I can't get it for 110, then like, why spend my time looking? You know, so we need to go on eBay and actually see if there's a history of this item being sold. So the way I like to do that is by going to sold listings and taking a look at the solds. This is the 1-pack. And there's 700 of them. So we kind of need to scroll up to, this is a weird one to do because it's a 1-pack as well. We'll type in 3-pack. There we go. All right, so that's a parts. We'd have to look into if this actually is the right one. But we're seeing here 46. I'm scrolling past these because it's for parts. This is open box. So like, for example, this is kind of an extreme situation, but 56 bucks. And if this guy sells it on Amazon, he makes 89 bucks. Incredible. Great. So we see that there's a history of people actually selling this item for a price that we could purchase it at. Again, there are a couple hundred solds, and some of these are going to be above our price, but we're actually seeing quite a few here that are within our parameters. Like even 90 bucks is great. So like that guy could accept our offer. Yeah. So that's the second thing I took a look at. Like, is there good potential for me to get this item? You know? And in this case, yes, there is. So then at this point, I want to be sure that there's no IP issues. So I would take a very quick look at IP alert and the IP alert for seller imp, but it's not like like the Bible. Like it's flawed sometimes. The main thing that I want to see is the brand selling this, and is there a pattern in this lower section? I'm going to scroll like this so you can see it. This lower section. This is the new offers, the used offers. I want to be sure that there's not a pattern of it going back down to 1. If people continue to be on this listing and selling it like usual, there's a very good chance there's not IP claims. So, I mean, Amazon has the buy box. We earlier took a look at all the sellers, and Google is not selling this item. So this one seems pretty safe to me. So we also would want to take a look at the price. We don't want to just say, hey, like it sells for 168 and just say it sells for 168 now. It's always going to sell for 168. We want to make sure like we're actually going to make some money if we have to go to the lowest price that it's ever been. So taking a look here, we're seeing the lowest price is somewhere around 120, 129. So that's not an ideal situation. We would still be making money. If we were to purchase this at our 110 and we had to sell it for 129, that's a break even. That's definitely not ideal. But we want to make sure that we're not going to lose a ton of money, and that the likelihood of us being able to sell this for a higher price is pretty high. So it seems very likely we can sell for 140. This is also a fast moving item. So it feels like we could also sell this, assuming we have a like new. Most of the circles, all the circles are like new. And the lowest like new I'm seeing is like 150. And it's usually up at more like 163. So I would definitely take a look at the price like that. 163 is still good. 150 is not ideal. but that would also work. So yeah, that's and then also I'd take a look at the variations. If there's variations like this, you want to go to Keepa and you want to go to variations. We see that the 3-pack gets 80% of the reviews. And so it's safe to say that the 3-pack is indeed getting great sales. It's getting a majority of the sales on this listing. So hopefully that helps. I'm going to stop sharing screen for just a second. Yeah, you're welcome, Stephen. It's a good question. And could people on eBay potentially sell you a refurbished item and you sell it on Amazon? Yeah, definitely. Yep. What would your concern be with that? In my opinion, actually, I kind of enjoy buying refurbished stuff because basically sometimes you're just purchasing stuff that you're going to list as used good, and like maybe it's not in the most amazing condition, but if it's refurbished, like the seller maybe has cleaned it, the seller maybe has provided more cords for it, like put the manual with it or something. I've had pretty good experiences with refurbished. We got a thunderstorm out there. Glad we're inside with some coffee. Steven says the triangles on the Keepa for third-party FBA, do those indicate a sale happened? No, they don't. So I'll show you again, or I'll explain it. So let's share this. It's a good question, really good question. So we'll go back to the Keepa here. So let's just zoom in so we can get all this data. So when I'm looking at an Amazon Keepa graph for used items, I have the used good on. Okay, my face is probably in the way. There we go. That's probably better. Let me know in the chat if that's better. Wow, there was a lightning strike. Getting so distracted. All right. We have the used good. That's the brown triangles. We have the green diamonds as very good. We have the black circles as like new. And then this buy box, it only shows buy box for new items. It doesn't show the buy box for used items. But this is the new buy box. And then this is the new FBA price. So it doesn't necessarily show that there is a sale there in particular. But we do see throughout this whole time, this rank has stayed extremely low. It's been continually under 125 sales rank in computers and accessories. Seller Amp is saying it's electronics. That's very strange. Anyways, that's amazing in either category. So we know this entire time it's selling. And so someone on this sales graph is getting sales. So at the very least, you can 100% know that within this time, there were sales, and at the very least, someone at the $126 offer got a sale. We know that for sure, and very likely these higher people were as well. Yeah, the lightning was really loud, or the thunder was really loud. Maybe I should unplug. I'm going to unplug. just in case. Or I'm lagging now. All right, run shared. Craig, my awesome dad, says, do you consider refurbished items better than used good? It just depends on the situation. For example, I've bought some of those printers where like a used good would be like the printer and the cord, but the used like refurbished on eBay, they just like say refurbished just because they like have all the parts together and they like took it from a they just made it better for the customer. So like maybe they have the manual now, or maybe they like cleaned it up or something. So and have you purchased this item from eBay and put it out on sale on Amazon? Yeah, actually. Actually, this is an item that we found this in a live stream on Monday, actually. So I purchased 2 of those on Monday. And I think I sold this item like a few months ago as well. So like I have experience with it selling. Yeah, it's definitely a good one. And the ROI like really depends on like what you end up purchasing it for. So I'll share the screen again. But on Monday, when we were able to purchase this, we got like new. So we're seeing a sale price of $168. That's kind of high, but most likely we'll sell. We ended up purchasing for $86 each, and we purchased 2 of them. So that's $59 profit on each, 69% ROI. Really, really good. Not usually how it goes, but we found something pretty good the other day. So yeah, what we can do, since we determined that this item is a very fast seller, we can probably get more of these. So there is a small possibility that something might be available right now. So like this is something that you could watch. This is something that you could watch and try and get on auction, depending on if they actually have everything you could. Again, you'd want to go in and make sure that like they actually have all the parts and everything. Yeah, and make sure it's the right model number. But yeah, we're looking at lowest. So we're going to see all the auctions here first. Something that sometimes works, there will be auctions, but they'll have best offer on. So you can go in and send them an offer like slightly above what they have here, and sometimes they'll accept. Made a lot of purchases that way. Right now we're kind of, oh, this one's 2 hours away. Ooh. It's already at like 95. But I mean, 95 is still good. It's still 53% ROI. Yep. So we do have this one for 103. 41% ROI. Includes 3 routers, 3 power cables, 1 Ethernet cable, 1 user guide. Packaging is cosmetically damaged. Product is not affected. So you could sell that as like new if you wanted to. AC, it's the right model. We want to confirm in the pictures that it is the correct model. So what you can do when you have the barcode here like this is really convenient to do. You just take your seller app, you go to your camera, and you just scan it. And we see here that this same listing pops up. I don't know if you can see that, but that same listing pops up. And so you can get a confirmation that this is indeed the right item. So that is good. We also see here, clicking there, we see the 3AC 1200. So I'm going to take a look at the chat real quick. Or actually, while we're here, so this looks like a good buy. Again, before you make a buy like this, make sure that there's no shipping. Make sure that the shipping time is acceptable to you. So I mean, it's the 20th. This is good shipping. The total price is going to be $103. If you have sales tax, factor that in. But yeah, if we were to sell this like new at $168, that's $42 profit, 41% ROI. So there's a good one if someone wants to purchase that. If nobody purchases in a couple of minutes, I'll probably purchase myself. But dibs to whoever wants that. As Stella climbs on my bed. She's enjoying the thunderstorm. All right. I'm going to take a look at the chat real quick. Arius G is saying, hey, how can I get ungated in electronics? I have only been selling for less than a year. So I'm curious, is this one, I'm back on the page of the thing that we're looking at here. Are you even sure that you're gated in electronics? When we go back on this screen, and you look at this ASIN here, and you can pause the video and enter that in and look in your seller app. Are you even gated? Because I don't think most new sellers are gated in electronics. Just take a look at this ASIN here and tell me what pops up. We're going to go back to chat real quick. Craig says, nice. Steven saying, and thank you. Steven says, do you send these to the prep center? And do they validate the condition for you prior to sending it to Amazon? Yeah, so if they see that something is completely wrong with this, like if I say like includes original box and like it doesn't include the original box, they'll usually send me a message and say, hey, this arrived without the box. Like, what do you want us to do? So in that situation, I'd probably send it in like used good condition instead of very good or like new. It happens every once in a while. It's not my favorite, but yeah. So I usually would send these to a prep center. You can also have them sent to your house too. Appreciate that, Josiah. Thanks, man. Speaking of good stuff, he came up on some great deals recently, like insanely great deals. Very cool stuff. Craig is saying you really have to keep your eye on shipping costs when purchasing on eBay. Can sometimes be a lot. Yep, it's often a deal breaker. There's one item that I look at on a regular basis. Oftentimes, like the buy price I'm looking for is 107. So it'll pop up and I see like 99.99 all the time, and then I look at shipping and it's like $25, and I'm like, come on. It's so annoying. I hate shipping. It would be so much easier for everyone if there was no shipping. Bigger margin for everyone. Yeah, you're welcome, Steven. In what categories? Are you talking about the example about the $99 item? or validating the condition. The one that I'm talking about is an office product. Jose says, my biggest fear on eBay to Amazon is the risk of suspension, but I guess it can happen with even new items from other sources. Yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, it's a matter of, you definitely only want to be risking what you are willing to lose. That being said, I've sold thousands and thousands of items, and my account is still up and running to this day. So, but there definitely is risk, and very, very technically from Amazon, you are supposed to have a proof of what is it called? Like permission from the brand, like a letter of authorization from the brand saying that you can sell the item. So you're supposed to have that for every used book that you have, every retail arbitrage item that you have, every online arbitrage item you purchase from Kohl's, every wholesale item that you have. So it's a weird balance of, most people don't have that besides big wholesalers and private label people because they are the brand. Used book people don't have that. Retail arbitrage people don't have that. eBay to Amazon doesn't have that. Online arbitrage, they have a more legitimate receipt usually. But sometimes that doesn't even work. So it's a risk regardless, and it's a little bit more of a risk than regular online arbitrage. So I would definitely balance it with like risk what you're willing to lose. Yep. And Craig says yes. Yeah, it's frustrating. It's pretty frustrating because there's used booksellers. They sell like 10, 20,000 books in a year, and they I mean, they got them out of a Gaylord. They don't have receipts, or they're at a thrift store. They don't have legitimate receipt from a brand, you know. So but it's Amazon's game, so they do what they want to do. Craig says, what's the hottest category of items that you've discovered recently? Let's see. I mean, it was cool that I'm making a list of, I'm making a list of items that people can use to get started, and that I'll be putting that out in the next several weeks here. But one of the items that I found was, it was pretty cool. There's like a bunch of different TI Texas Instrument calculators, and they range from selling for $20 up to like over $100 on Amazon between the different model numbers. And there's just so many different types of calculators. And so recently I've been looking to do more volume, like more units. And so there's a couple of them that they're like pretty plentiful, but they're cheaper. And so you can purchase them for like 14 to 18 bucks and sell them for like 25 to 30 bucks and make like a good like 30 to 50% ROI, and they sell quick. Or at least the data is saying that they sell quick. I basically have test buys in. So just like there's just so many different items out there. It's absolutely insane. But speaking of hot items, I am going to go back and see if this listing is still here. All right. So it's still here. I think I'm going to go ahead and purchase this because This is looking pretty good to me. Yeah. So I'm going to stop the screen and purchase this real quick because why not? But yeah, Steven, most of what I do is used items. I was able to do, I think I'm around 400K in sales this year from used items, mostly used items. So it's been pretty good to me. It's been a good gig. It's definitely something that most people don't think about, but the reality of it is I just made that purchase, so I'll show you guys here real quick. Just purchased this for the 103. But yeah. So the thing is like from a customer's perspective, some of these new items, this isn't the best example of this because this one, the new item is only like 10 bucks more. But sometimes you'll get an item that's like 300 bucks, but the used one is like 200 bucks. So you literally get to save them $200 because you sourced a used one, which is sweet. It's a good win-win because like you get to save them $100 off of what they were going to purchase before. Do tell. Yeah, those calculators are good. And that's what I was talking about before. I do mostly used items. I do a little bit of new items, but I really, because like for me, I send most of my stuff to the prep center. So I need to be like 110% sure. I need to be 110% sure that it's actually new and has everything. Otherwise, the customer's going to get mad, you know? So I'd rather list it as like new. Arius says, I just checked and it says requires approval. Okay. So, one thing that you can do is, I'm sure you're probably familiar with how people get ungated from Frontier Co-op for grocery and health and beauty. You can do a similar thing with bulk office supply. And basically you just find an electronic, something that's in the electronic category that you can find an ASIN for. You find the exact same item on bulk office supply and you submit the invoice for that. You buy 10 items of the same item and you can use that to get ungated in the category. Jose is saying, in a way, you're mitigating risk by just buying used and reducing your cost of inventory in comparison to OA sellers who just buy new. Yeah, that's part of it. I mean, to be completely honest, in February, March, April, May, and still sort of to this day, like I have a lot invested in inventory. So what I'm working on right now is mitigating my risk more in the case something were to happen. Because yeah, I just want to like make sure that things are safe. So I'm not like I was spending 10 to 20,000 a week on inventory, and sales were amazing, but like I want to keep my profits. So I'm trying to be more of a like specific, focused, like selling probably 40 to 60K a month and having higher margins. That's what my goal is right now. Just being more laser focused, less costs, higher ROI stuff. Because before I was just purchasing like 25, 30% items, and then there's lots of returns, and like the credit card bill was like, it was mostly leveraged. I want to use all cash. That like, I think leveraging was a good choice. But at some point the reward is less than the risk. So Steven's saying, wow. It's so annoying that things are just delayed. I don't know what you're referring to, but thank you. I appreciate that. Jose is saying, what's your cost of goods year to date, if you don't mind sharing? Yeah, I could take a look while we answer some other questions. Steven says, do you deal with a lot of issues with bad condition items causing bad reviews? I laugh because thankfully, this is why I don't want to do merge fulfilled, because with FBA, you can get most of those removed. You can get them auto crossed out. If I did merge fulfilled, like FBA doesn't have, like, they don't take responsibility. So if you guys don't know, what you can do is if you send in an item to Amazon FBA and you get a feedback, you can have it auto removed if they complain about the price or if it's something that FBA could have done wrong, like ship it damaged or like lose something at the fulfillment center. Because like obviously that's not my fault. So if they complain about either of those two things, which it most of the time is, you can get it auto crossed out. So I have a lot of auto crossed out ones. Yeah. And Craig's saying, if you're gated in a given category and request approval to be ungated, does it hurt your standing in Amazon seller as a seller by requesting to be ungated in it? I ungated a lot. No, not at all. No. Yeah, it doesn't hurt you at all. And if they deny you, it doesn't hurt you either. Yeah, there's no negative side effect to it. They just want to cover themselves by making sure that brands are happy. They don't want they want like a gate there so that new sellers who potentially don't know what they're doing don't sell products that are a bad customer experience. And so they have like this thing here to like prove to the brand that you have authorization and kind of show that you're a competent seller. So I think that's the reason why. Well, I appreciate that. Thanks, Steven. Yeah, it's weird because in 2021, I was doing mostly books the first half of the year. So I was going to thrift stores, estate sales, free book pickups, and I was doing that full time and sending in 150 to 300 books a week. And sales were between 10 and 15K a month. And that's what I was doing. And like the margins were really good with that. So like it was still good money. But in November, December, I had been learning retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, and I decided to start using credit. And I had a 31K December, a 40K January, and it kind of went up from there. Yeah, you're welcome. If you ever have questions, send me a message on Instagram. I can probably help you out. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, definitely, guys. Big tip here. If you get a negative feedback on Amazon, especially if you did FBA for it, like do request removal. Like, please, like request removal. Almost all the time it can get removed. I didn't even know that for probably 9 months of selling on Amazon. And it's very easy too. When a customer decides to start a return for one of your item, who covers the return cost? So that's I kind of just, that's a problem, unfortunately, but almost all of what happens is when there's a return, usually you don't have a outright, like, I didn't get my item back and I refunded them. Like, in order to do a return, they need to send the item back to Amazon. So most of the time that's how it works. So usually you at least give your item back. So they paid for the item, they got it, they don't like it, they send the item back, and then technically I give them a refund of the money that they already paid me. So, but usually it's not a situation like 95% of the time, it's not a situation where I don't get my item back. Very, very thankful though. Amazon deals with most of this. And like, even if there's angering situations, at least I don't have to sit here and like send a message to people on eBay about it. Goodness, that made me mad when I had to do that. Like I had to sell a few items recently on eBay, and just, I do not like customer service. I'd rather just like have the thing happen and not know about it than have to message someone like, here's your $30 refund. Yeah, like Jose is saying, the seller does. And how do you request removal of negative reviews on Amazon? So I can't share my screen with that because, but I can basically tell you how to do it. So I'm on the other screen. You go to your Seller Central, you go to Performance, it's at the top. You go to Feedback. And then from there, you'll see your feedback when you scroll down. And then on the right of that feedback, there's going to be actions. And then from there, you can choose one, and one of them will be, let's find one that I can do. You don't want to remove your 5-star feedbacks, but you can click request removal. And from there, it'll usually be crossed out. It'll say it's against Amazon's policies. Yeah, so like we're saying, Steven, the buyer paid us, and then the return happens, and then we pay them back from what the buyer paid us. So it comes out of our pocket, but it's not like we went negative because of it, if that makes sense. Yeah, and so then Amazon gets it back, and they say, hey, like, is this still a new item? And then if it's not still a new item, or still isn't in the condition it's supposed to be, as stated, they'll deem it unfillable. And then at that point, you're going to have to remove or order it somewhere and relist it. And that is my absolute favorite. I hate that. It's so annoying, but it's part of the game. Yeah, and if it is, they'll put it back in your inventory, and if not, it kicks back to you. Yeah, exactly. So probably 90% of the time, most of the time, it'll go right back in your inventory. Most of the time. Yeah, exactly. The return comes from your pocket as a seller, part of doing business, just like Walmart. Yep. Yeah, it's easy to get kind of raveled in like not wanting to like deal with returns and issues and stuff. I personally just like to let it play out and not look at it, because I don't want my day to be ruined. Like, I want to keep making forward motion with things and not be annoyed about someone returning something. It's not helpful. They're just going to return it anyways. Yeah, you're welcome, Dad. Dad's been getting his first couple sales on Amazon. He started about a month and a half ago, so that's exciting to see. Oh, the shipping fee. I've never looked into it that deep, but it probably comes from us. So, I mean, generally, the more that you can give a good product that customers don't want to return, the better. Like, returns really add up. So From January to around May, I kind of went hog wild and didn't look at my returns and the return rate per item. And now I looked at all of them and it was a little overwhelming. So I'm trying to sell items that have under 10% return rate. That way I can kind of cut down on stuff and stop selling items that get returned all the time. Like I had a couple multimeter tools. I had some VCRs that literally had like 50% return rates. Like they on paper looked like great products, great data, great everything, but I just kept getting returns for them. So just got to cut them out. Like not a fan of returns. The return fee does come from your pocket, not the buyer's. Yeah. And honestly, to be completely honest, a lot of issues come from buyers thinking that they have to pay return shipping on something that they don't like. I think it's a good thing that sellers have to pay that, because if more buyers knew that, they would start less problems with us. Like I'm pretty sure I had a counterfeit claim because a customer was not happy with their product and they thought that they could get free returns because they said that the item was like fake or something. But that's like 1 out of 6,000 items. So I think us paying shipping for something is probably best. However, return rates is small compared with the sales. You have to focus on selling more. Yeah, and like, yeah, definitely like take a look at your returns every once in a while, but like really focus on finding good items that make good money, that don't get returned that much. At a very high level, Amazon, like Amazon Lit, for example, or like big wholesalers, they try to like stick to under $20 sale price items because they know that customers aren't gonna like, it's not gonna be a big deal if like their little bar of soap isn't exactly what they want. Therefore, less returns, less issues. So that's one way of doing things. Where can I see how much is deducted from a return? Well, I know in Inventory Lab, it gives a total amount of all of your returns. So that could be a good place to look. I would go in your, what is it? Reports. And you can rewind this, reports, profit and loss, and then take a look at the month or the year. Craig's saying I'm starting to get some traction. That's what we like to see. So you've been getting a few. All right. Are we still here? I think I clicked back. But I'm glad to hear that. So it sounds like you're getting more sales. Things are starting to get checked in. Another thing you can do is you can kind of go into all your items. And if you see that they're active, you can go in and change your prices to be competitive, like matching the used buy box. That's something you can do to get more sales too. Yeah, you're welcome, Steven. And Jose, thanks for helping out as well. Ouch. Returns do hurt. Not my favorite, but that's how it is. Grocery is great because food is not returnable. Yeah, so like even though the ROI like could potentially be smaller, like when you factor in returns, that could be a pretty good setup. How can you know which items are returned a lot and which ones aren't? That's a good question. Yeah, so I can explain that real quick. Basically, the way that I do this is I go into my Amazon Seller Central, I go to inventory, and then I take a look at the items. When you go into inventory, manage FBA inventory, And then underneath the SKU, so you'll go to inventory, you'll see the SKU, and there's going to be a number there. You can click that number, open it in another tab, and I'll link a video about this too, because I made a video about this. But you can click view sales data for the ASIN, and you can click in the last 12 months. You can see how many units you sold, and then you can go to in another tab, reports, fulfillment, and then under fulfillment on the left, you can see Amazon customer returns. It's kind of hidden away a little bit. But from there, you can type the ASIN in, and you can take a look at all the returns and all the return reasons as well. The return reasons are really helpful. Yeah, good to see you, Dad. See ya. Oh, in Inventory Labs, there was a return report. Yeah, that's super helpful. Yeah, I guess there's a couple of different ways to do it. All right, guys. Well, I think maybe one more question, and then I'm probably going to head off. It's been good hanging out. I feel like this was a really good session, and we ended up getting that purchase of, I think it ended up being $42 profit. So that's pretty cool. 41% ROI. And cool. We got to talk about returns. We got to talk about IP issues, feedback, getting ungated in electronics. Got to talk about a lot of stuff. Got to talk about Peru. The next live. So the next live is actually going to be tomorrow. We'll be back on tomorrow as well. So most likely I'm probably going to be on Thursday and Friday. So I'd love to see you guys there tomorrow as well. This is always fun. It's always fun when you guys come and hang out. This was a really good stream. Yeah, Steven, thanks for all the questions. They were really good questions. I can tell that you're actually learning it and doing the thing. So appreciate that. Yeah, I'd love to see you guys on the next stream. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. If you have questions, send me messages on Instagram, or you can just save them for tomorrow. Hope you have a great rest of the day, and take care.